Part 3 of the box review, combos, deck lists, and plays. Let's hop into it.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at him. Let's go.
It is top tier vampire review time. Why am I calling them top tier? We don't know if they're top tier, but they are the most discussed, most hyped, most theory crafted, most discussed, I'll say that again, deck within the DLM Discord. They are possibly very nuts. Here's some new cards. There's also another new card we'll talk about. Now, what was this? If you watch me on stream regularly every week, I give away 10 bucks for free. You don't have to be anything. If you were subbed on Twitch, it would be 20 bucks instead. A sub just won, he won 20 bucks. A non-sub won the last giveaway, he won 10 bucks. I straight up PayPal you the 10 bucks for watching me. I bribe you to watch me on Twitch, and you're still not watching me on Twitch. What is wrong with you? Take the money and visit me on twitch.tv/duellinksmeta every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, 6 p.m. EST. What are you doing? Here are some community concepts. Thank you so much, everyone from the community within the DLM Discord discussing. There were so many deck ideas. We got Kite Royd in there, all of this. I did cut off his text so you could see the deck list a bit better. More here. Great, great, great. Take a screenshot, pause the video if you need to. Now, Duke, the ultra rare. You're going to play 0 to 2. Why 0? Well, you're only going to use him if you play the field spell. Some people are playing a non-field spell version. There's different ways to build the vampire deck. You could play the deck with Exceeds or Synchros, with the field spell, without the field spell. Now let's get into what you do. On special summon, you're going to force your opponent to send a card from their deck to the graveyard. If they are a treacherous trap hole player, then you could force them to send a trap from their deck to the grave, which will turn off their treacherous. And when a card is sent from the opponent's deck to the graveyard, that will trigger the field spell to pop a card on the field. Ideally, you're going to summon the Vampire Duke during your opponent's turn to pop a card on their field during their turn. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that through the Vampire Takeover, which will play the field spell from your deck and summon a Duke from your graveyard. So you want to have a way to search the Takeover, which you easily could do, and have a Duke in the graveyard, which you could easily do, to then play the field spell, special the Duke, pop a card on the field, disrupt their play, disrupt their turn. Another play is Vampire Awakening. Summon the Duke from the deck, but this doesn't help you get the field spell. If you already have the field spell, maybe you search the field spell or you drew it, you're going to play the Vampire Awakening instead, special the Duke from the deck, then pop a card in the field. Speaking of Vampire Awakening, a brand new super rare from the box, special summon any vampire from the deck, but then you have to destroy it during the end phase. So you're not just summoning the Duke, you can also summon a Grace during your turn, then that could also trigger the field spell. Another play is you could summon a Retainer or a Familiar to search for any vampire card from your deck. You can also special summon a Vampire Vamp, normal summon a Vampire, which will trigger her Suck, the good Suck. She's going to suck up a monster that's 2,000 attack or higher, gaining its attack, and then when the Vamp gets destroyed in the end phase, if you didn't win that turn, she'll come back on the field. That is crazy. Now Vampire Red Baron. This could have easily been an ultra rare or a super rare. You're going to want to play 1 to 2 Barons. This card's great. What it does is you swap control of a vampire that's not itself and a monster your opponent controls. That is insane. It also has an additional effect of special summoning any monster it destroys by battle during the end of the battle phase, but we don't really care about that. We want to swap control of your tiny vampire with their big monster. Some great skill ideas because the deck makes you lose a lot of life points. The Baron costs 1,000 life, the Searcher vampires cost 500 life each. So when you drop yourself to 2,000 or below, you could turn both of your monsters that are level 2 or some mismatched level into level 4s to make a Utopia Ray. Ideally, you're at 1,000 life to summon the Utopia Ray. Otherwise, you're just making a regular rank 4 Exceed, probably. Destiny Draw, you get to search anything. So why not? But maybe you want a quicker skill that could do something right here, right now. Maybe Sealed Tombs. If you're 1,000 life less than your opponent, you get to prevent both players from banishing or summoning from the graveyard. That could stop a Wild Wind for next turn and the Red Rising Dragon. Also, no mortal can resist can turn their Wild Wind into a Skull Servant. So they don't get to banish, they don't get to search. Now you're going to see some duels against a Resonator deck where we're stealing their cards and also playing against Harpies. So let's see what we could do. We're going to pay 500 for an additional summon. So that will be an additional summon there. Sam Skull is going to send a Retainer to the graveyard. And then the Retainer, we're going to special summon it by sending a Familiar to the grave, summon Retainer. So we're going to lose 500. So we've lost 1,000 so far. I'm not sure what we're searching, but we do have a search for the Desire, Takeover, the Field Spell, or the Awakening. All right? The Familiar can then send the domain to the graveyard to summon onto the fields at the cost of 500. And I'm also not sure what we're searching here because we already have the Baron. I guess we would be searching Baron. So it could be the Crimson, the Vamp, the Grace, or the Scourge. We do have an additional summon. So we're going to use the Baron to additional summon. We're going to additional summon over the Retainer, I believe. Why did I put this material? Okay. We're going to pay 1,000. 1,000 to steal the Red Rising Dragon. Okay. And I guess we could rank 6 Exceed now? What the heck? Rank 7, this could be over a 5 or a 6. Do some piercing. 6,100 life. We rank 6 Exceed. What's good with the Beetle? We might want to do Beetle into the Rhino. Okay, we go for Rhino Bus. I guess we grabbed an Awakening. So we have an Awakening from that search. And then we wanted to grab a monster. The monster that's good to add could be a Grace, potentially, if we want to set up with that. So we have a Grace and an Awakening. And we could say that we put the Vampire Familiar in attack position. That's fine. And we're going to swing over to deal 1,200 damage. And give me back my Familiar. Then the Rhino Boss is going to swing to deal 2,300. Then we go back to this. They draw. Let's say they return it for the Wild Wind. They banish the Wild Wind to grab another. I mean, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They could special summon the Wild Wind, make their play. They could go Red Rising Dragon, summon the Crimson Resonator, or even the regular Resonator. We could trigger the Rhino Bus detach, destroy the Red Rising Dragon, and then they're just kind of messed up, right? Now, let's say they didn't get messed up. Even with the Rhino Bus, let's say it was sent to the graveyard because of a Dark End Dragon, which then turned into a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. And this is gone too, somehow. We didn't lose from lethal, though. Then it's our turn. We could draw. We could Vampire Awakening. Special summon a Vampire from the deck. Retainer. Pay 500, not 2,300, mate. And then we can grab one of the spells. We can grab the Field Spell. That could be good. Or the Desire could have been good. And we could literally just... We're at 1,800. I mean, we're down to 1,000 life now. And then with normal summoning the same skull, we could send whatever. We could then do level tuning to then make a Utopia into Utopia Ray for game. Boom. Boom. What do we do in turn 1? We're going to Gazuki. Gazuki could send any zombie from the deck to the graveyard. Send a Duke. Then Desire. Target the Gazuki, make it level 2. Send a Retainer. Then Retainer, send the Scourge, summon Retainer onto the fields. Activate, pay 500 life. Grab a Takeover, set the Takeover. Exceed into the 45, 2200 attack, which will detach a material. The Retainer now goes to the grave instead of being banished. Detach a material, target a face-up card in the field. That card is negated. Completely negated. Okay? And then, during the opponent's turn, they're going to draw. They're not going to have a Swallow Nest. They don't have Swallow Nest ever. Okay, get out of here. They draw. They got a damage diet, mate. Of course they got that. They're going to summon a Channeler. Their field spell does not activate. Does not activate. Then we're going to flip up the Takeover. Take over. Flip up. What it's going to do is if you have nothing in your field zone and you have at least one face-up zombie, you're going to activate a Vampire Kingdom directly from your deck, then special summon a Dark Vampire from your graveyard. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the field spell, Vampire Kingdom, then we're going to summon the Duke. Does the Duke go into defense? Yeah, it goes in defense. Now, the Duke has been summoned. Does the Duke miss the timing? This says when this card is special summoned, you can... So the last thing to happen is it being summoned, so it does not miss the timing. We played the field spell, then summoned the Vampire on the last thing we did. We're going to declare a monster spell or trap, and your opponent must send that from their deck to the graveyard. What are they going to... We're going to call... Maybe we don't want to call trap because they're playing damage diet. You what, mate? We'll just call trap. Your opponent has to pick up their deck and send a trap to the graveyard. Monster spell or trap. Well, are you with me? That triggers the field spell. The field spell says, when a card is sent from your opponent's deck to the graveyard, target a card in the field. Then you're going to send a vampire from your hand or deck to the graveyard to then destroy that target. So we're going to target this. We're going to send a vampire from our deck to the graveyard. We're going to send a vampire familiar to destroy the channeler. That's the deck. That's the deck. That is the deck. That is a great example of this deck. Here is a concept deck list. By no means is this optimal. We're just showing the concept of how the deck works. I think we're very likely going to be using triple skull, triple Kazuki to get the combos going. Get your retainer normally in your graveyard or your familiar. Make a play with the Duke. You're going to use the Desire or drawing a Duke to get the Duke in the graveyard. And then you're going to use the Takeover as I'm describing here. Here's the extra deck. My thoughts are you want to get the Duke in the grave to take over during their turn to pop a card in the fields. It's similar to Simultaneous Loss, which is a free-to-play Duke. It will mill the top card of you and your opponent's deck, so that will trigger the field spell to pop a card in the field. Back in the day, this is what was used. I believe this even got first place global with vampires. But now the Duke is just a more consistent Simultaneous Loss plus the other benefits it provides of being a vampire. Very nice. And if you're going turn 2, you're going to use the Baron to steal your opponent's monster, then exceed or synchro with it. Combo heavy tier potential, and if you missed it earlier, this is what a synchro version of the deck looks like with the Spectral Sword. I like this idea. Thank you, Reseline. You can read this on a one-turn kill combo. Zoom in, squint, pause the screen. Thank you very much. Now let's talk about generic exceeds and synchros. This is very important. This is not a filler part of the review because this is possibly the best thing out of this box. A generic rank 6 exceed that is an insect. We don't even have to care what it does. I will talk about what it does, but it summons a Rhino Bus. Rhino Bus is insane. Pierce through defense, per turn quick effect, non-targeting destruction, rare, rare. This is free to play. If your deck can make a rank 6 Exceed, then you're making a Rhino bust to get Pearson and quick play pop in. Otherwise, the effect is it could send one face-up card on the opponent's field to the graveyard. That is essentially condensed what it do. Dyson Sphere. Level, rank 9, Exceed. It requires 2 level 9s to make it. What it do is basically every turn, it's going to be able to negate your opponent's attack and just do it over and over. Every turn, it will negate one attack. So you're going to have to attack twice to get over it or destroy it by battle or remove it by a card effect. It also has another effect where you could attack directly, but it can only be activated if your opponent controls a monster that is bigger than this, which will very likely be pretty rare. So this is an idea from Newt. Thank you, Newt. Machine dupe onto the Despot 3 will equal a Dyson Sphere. This is the deck idea to do so. Oh boy, that's a 1 card. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. You tell me. This is an idea. It's one part of being able to do it and then having fun with that deck. Very good. Shadow Lich. Rank 3 Exceed. Special token during your opponent's turn, and then while you have a token, this cannot be attacked. It's a zombie. I'm not sure when you will use this, but maybe you will. Googly Eyes Drum Dragon. This is your responsibility, okay? I told you what was great, what was top tier, combos, plays, deck lists, anything that was worth making a Discord channel and discussing and theory crafting about. I told you all about it. Now, for cards that are bad, you have to tell me what they do. You let me know in the comments. What does Googly Eyes Drum Dragon do? Oh, just read the effect. Yeah, I read it. I don't even know what it do. I just know it's bad. So it's probably trash. You tell me about it. Make it seem good or confirm that it's trash. Dark Flotop, Dark Flop is what I like to call it. Probably trash also. It summons a bunch of monsters I don't feel like reading because this was a very long stream. You tell me, okay? Repay the favor to me. I told you what's good. Now you tell me about these bad cards being bad. Thank you. UR and super rare cards that are not specifically tied to a deck type. Let's talk about them. Smashing Ground. Holy moly. Gia and myself used to play this card, the TCG. I think we even side decked it, maybe played up to 3 of them. In Duel Links, it is so overpower creps that this is crazy to even be an ultra rare. It's very similar to Hammer Shot, but Hammer Shot could destroy your own monster if it's the highest attack. This will just destroy your opponent's monster with the highest defense. Great for taking out Saber Dancer. If you really hate furries, then you could pay a lot of money to smash them. Jelly Cannon. This card is hilarious. You or your opponent declares an attack. Then you could shuffle any monster on the field back in the deck. That's great. It doesn't have to be a direct attack. It doesn't have to be your opponent attacking. You can attack, then that will trigger the Jelly Cannon. This is what the Jelly Cannon is competing with. I don't think it's better than any of these top traps. You know, of course, the Psalm Scolding and the 100 Thunders are used in their specific deck type deck, and same with Ballista Squad being used in Shiranui. But the Jelly Cannon's kind of like a Drowning Mirror Force. It's a mini Drowning Mirror Force. Drowning Mirror Force will only shuffle attack position monsters your opponent controls if your opponent direct attacks. So it's very difficult to trigger the Drowning Mirror Force. Instead, it could be a regular attack on your monster or you attacking into them. Then you could shuffle any monster, even if their monster's in defense or attack, it does not matter. Shuffle it back. Mini Drowning Mirror Force. Now, looking at Shiranui, why not get Jelly with this? Just toss the Jelly in. You have all these traps. No one cares. Okay, just take a Canadia out, throw a Jelly in. It'll be hilarious. Magical Hound. It returns a face-up spell trap your opponent controls back to their hand to summon the Magical Hound from your hand or your grave. So it could be good if you mill it. It's also a level 1 tuner. It's a machine. It's Earth. It's a worse Mystical Space Typhoon. I can't think of why I'd really want to use this unless I'm already using other machine tuners in my deck. Maybe Thunder Dragons would use it, but probably not. It's a worse Glowpulp and a worse Mystical Space Typhoon. It's average. I just don't see it being that good. Solar Windjammer. has the non-unique effect of special summoning itself onto the field as a level 5, which we have Butterfly and the Vorse Raider doing exactly that. If you control no monsters, you could special summon this, but it's light and it's a machine. So if you could figure out a good reason to use this because it's light and machine instead of using the Butterfly and the Raider, let's go. Hidden Gem Alert. If you've been struggling to find use for your useless Heretic Dragon King of Adam, you now have a purpose. You can now use it to summon the Soul Drain Dragon. Why are we choosing the Heretic Dragon of Adam to summon this? Well, it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned by a dragon type exceed monster's effect in your position and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Whoa, that's exactly what this is. They were destined to be together. Read it yourself. You will not believe it. Congratulations on your Adam. Now we're going for hidden gems. The gems that are hidden. Mecha Bunny, is this? What the heck is this? This card is flipped face up. Select a card in the field. Inflicts 500. Probably will be 250. What the? Flint. The equipped monster loses 300 and cannot change its battle position, nor declare an attack. If this card is destroyed, target a monster in the field, equip this card to that target. It's a mandatory. Holy moly. Equip it, destroy the monster, then equip it on someone else? Nuts. Flint Lock? Wait, there's a Flint deck type? Once per turn, you could target a Flint in the spell and trap, equip it to this card. Then you could target a Flint on this card and one monster in the field and accept this card, then equip the Flint onto that. What the Flint? While equipped with Flint, this card's unaffected by the effect of Flint and could not be destroyed by battle. The Flint Lock. We have red, yellow, and blue blooded Onis. Wait, blooded, belly, and headed Onis. What the heck? When this card is summoned, it is changed defense. You could detach and exceed material you control to target one. Wait, once per turn, you could detach one exceed material you control to target a zombie in your graveyard, special summon it. So you put this alongside your exceed monster, and then you could detach and exceed material. When you exceed a monster, you could special summon this from your hand. Then you could detach to target a face. Holy moly, this is just trash. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a zombie type monster, you could target a zombie, detach and exceed from a monster on the field. If you do, increase. Oh, Jesus. Look at this. This is like fake synergy. Amphibian Beast. On the land or in the sea, the speed of this monster is unmatchable. Holy moly. Acid Crawler. A giant caterpillar that secretes an acid mist that melts anything. When this is fusion summon, you can target a monster your opponent controls, destroy that. Machine monster plus a pyro. Machine plus a pyro. Destroy. Also destroy this card. What? Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of the attack of the monster in the graveyard that was targeted by this effect. What the trash? A fake explosion. Activate only when an opponent's monster declares an attack. Monsters cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. The special summon a reactor SK from your what's a reactor? Okay, you know what? There's synergy here, but you all are gonna have to figure it out for me. You're gonna tell me. Tell me if the super defense robots are good. Tell me if the Onis are good. You don't need to tell me if Amphibian Beast is good. I already know. Tell me if the Flying Fortress Reactor, Fake Explosion, Dark Flatop deck is good. Maybe, probably not, but you could tell me. And you could tell me what's good. Okay, tell me some combos in the comments below. All right, I tried to make the Isolde work. She didn't work. She ain't working well. So because she did not work well, I'm devastated. Now you have to make the other cards work. I don't know what any of these do. They probably are all trash. You're gonna waste your time telling me what they do. But please do, tell me what they do. Make them work. What is the best of the trash? Be like you say, make use of junk. Let's go.